Welcome to this edition of Still Uncaptured with myself, Undumiso Gangobo Iqadi, asemaqadini nasehammersdale,
and Khomoso Matsunyane.
You've got no culture, none whatsoever. You know.
I'm cultureless.
Because you even told me you don't even really know your what do you call them? Direto.
No, it's written somewhere. Hey guys, it's so much effort. You have to now memorize.
You have to be Zulu.
What?
Mina ungcobomkhulu ufuza fulele mashiya mahla ngathi azoshumayela. Still Uncaptured. Please engage with us on all our socials. Find us on Spotify. Talk to us, but also subscribe. Subscribe to the podcast so that we know who is actually in our corner,
in our space.
We
have a lot of our people from Kaya FM. Hello.
Who
used to call us on Uncaptured, and they're still uncaptured.
Very uncaptured.
Yeah.
And today, this is an episode where I think a lot of the people that follow us religiously, they love these particular episodes. We're just you and I kind of just sitting here freelancing.
Where we talk shit.
We talk shit. And we're just talking shit. And so we're going to be talking about a couple of things, right? We want to talk a little bit about miracles. Then we're going to go, but not a morbid discussion. We're going to talk a little bit about death. And then we're going to go into our fears. And then we just, gently get out of it with a little bit of a game. But starting with miracles. Right now in my head, I'm hearing the song by Dionne Warwick, The Age of Miracles. You know that song?
Yes, I know exactly what song you're talking about.
And of course, her cousin, Whitney Houston, also has another song called Miracle. Miracle.
There's a miracle in store.
Do you believe in miracles, Umuzo?
Yes, I do.
Talk to me. What is a miracle? Okay, tell me. What is your definition? It's manga. It's manga. What's a miracle?
It is one of my most ridiculous beliefs.
Yes.
That has nothing to do with science.
Yes.
That has nothing to do with logic. Sometimes, we talked about this particularly when we were having the episode about marijuana.
Yes.
And even before that, but still on the topic of marijuana. That, have you ever done mushrooms?
Never. I am, for someone who is as adventurous as I am, when it comes to Myrtle Clark, when we talked about marijuana, was very irritated with me when I said recreational drugs, right? So we don't use that word. She said adult, what was it?
I can't remember.
Adult use of narcotics, right? I'm very careful about it, purely because I know myself. I have a particularly addictive personality. So ethanol, alcohol, I think I can manage. Tetrahydro 9 cannabinol, marijuana, I'm comfortable.
THC.
I have actually never done any other drug except those two.
I've done mushrooms.
And? Tell me about it, because I can only live vicariously through you. Because I don't want to try.
When you were younger,
yes,
I'm going to try to challenge you.
Yes.
Or when you were younger, did you never try benzene?
Of course I did. Okay, all right. Okay, cool. Okay, very true.
Okay.
And glue. I also sniffed glue because I had a friend who was...
I never tried glue.
Oh,
really?
In a guava juice container. That plastic thing where you go, and then you sit there, and then you just laugh and laugh and laugh. I've tried benzene.
What happened when you smoked benzene? Was it quite hallucinogenic?
It was very hallucinogenic.
It was terribly hallucinogenic.
It was horrible, because I remember someone was ironing in boarding school. I think I was in standard 8. So, and people, the Brentwoods and the Dobshires, because they don't want to use water, so then they use benzene.
Yes.
I sat there and someone just like took a cloth and I was like, I was like, what's that like? And they were too busy giggling. All I remember was the giggles.
So you also did it?
No, I didn't.
And it was frightening, right?
It was frightening.
Because everything was so different.
Because everything was bright.
So the reason I mention all these
Mushrooms.
and the mushrooms, the benzene, is because they're hallucinogens of sorts, right?
Yes.
Like I've never, for example, done acid. I imagine that's what acid would be like.
Yeah.
Kind of like as well. When I had those experiences many, many years ago, I always felt like I'm feeling something. There is something present here that I obviously cannot see when I'm not high.
Yes.
With the naked eye.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
I believe that there are forces that are happening around the universe and the galaxy all the time. And we don't see them. And they may not be naked to the human eye.
Because we are not attuned to them.
For whatever reason.
You can't see them. Because for me, also, to be honest with you, is that's part of why it is that I dabble in marijuana. Is that also when I am that, because I'm so, I don't use it every day and so on. But when I do, there are thoughts that I'm just like, it's a beautiful thought. Right. I haven't had this thought before.
So if you can have that thought,
yes,
and if that is possible with marijuana and also other substances, why couldn't there be a miracle? Why couldn't then you drive and then just after 1 second after you've driven, the next car behind you gets hit?
Yes.
You could say for you there was a miracle. It wasn't for the people behind you.
It might have been for them as well.
Maybe it was for them. But so I believe that there are things that happen that I, in my stupidness as a human or my limitations as a human being, am not able to see. So I do think that sometimes things happen. I don't necessarily believe in biblical miracles. Mm-hmm. For example, the Bible, I just think, mo la pompa. But I think things can happen that are miraculous.
Okay, so here is where I put on my scientific hat. So scientifically, I have to ask the question, when you are under the influence of mushrooms, whatever revelations you see, whatever happens in your head, is it because your brain is not attuned to that, let's call it a frequency, there's a particular frequency that you can't, or it is actually the substance that you are using that has generated it?
Both.
So in other words, how real is it? So what you are experiencing, how real is it? Because quite frankly, you and I know a lot of people that you look at where you go, yay, Kanye, come on, dog. That's not reality, right? But is it reality? Because for him, it's very real for him. Because how is it different from mental illness?
Right.
How is it different? So
how is it different from
Uktwasa? Perfect example. So I'm kind of on the fence about whether miracles exist or not, because I do not know how real they are. You are in very good company, by the way, because, one of the West's greatest intellectuals, Dr. Sam Harris.
Okay.
Dr. Sam Harris, right? I really think he's smart. I've been following his career. He truly believes, and he actually encourages people to try mushrooms, to try psychedelics, because he says it actually expands your bandwidth, your brain bandwidth. And I sit there and I go, I don't think I want to tinker with my bandwidth, because I'm crazy enough as it is. So,
without needing the other things.
But let me give you, let me just tell you a story very quickly. And I think I've told you the story before. And I think I told you at the time, where a particular very prominent South African actor, female, and I will say this because, we've talked about it with her, Bonimbuli, right? Where she, I woke up one Sunday morning and I was attacked by these dreams. And the dreams were so bloody intense that I remember I tried to wake up, go drink water, come back, and I try and sleep. The dream continues, right? And then I woke up probably around 4 a.m. I started writing because I was like, this is like a TV script, this story, and so on. Lo and behold, 2 days later, do I not get like a message from like a DM on Twitter because we follow each other? And she says, I had such a strong dream that you had written this particular manuscript, this television script, and that you had cast me. And when I had dreamed, and I remember telling Debucho, my wife, I said, like, I actually, in my head, I was like, I saw Bonimbuli being this thing. She, independent of me, had exactly the same thing. And I'm not even sure that she believed me when she came to me, because she sent me the DM and I said to her, believe it or not, I actually had this particular dream. And it has fucked with my mind since then. And this is like probably 12, 13 years ago that this happened. Is that a miracle?
I don't know.
Can it be explained though? Because I didn't tweet it. She didn't tweet it.
Is it a coincidence?
But what kind of coincidence is this? That the
I'll
two
tell
of
you
us,
something.
Yeah.
Part of why I think I have a belief system that I do, besides being raised Catholic, I'm a recovering Catholic and all that stuff, is that I grew up with a mother who is a dreamer.
Okay.
My mother sees things in dreams.
Yeah.
And they either come true or they have some truth to it. The way you'd be like, but that was just a dream, right? And she honestly believes in that. There's, when I was a baby, I was very sick and crying, and she was really frustrated, and it's dark and it's night and dad's not home. Do you understand? And I'm crying and I'm obviously quite sick. Anyway, at some point she falls asleep and she dreams of her mother, and her mother died when my mom was like 14 years old. So it's like a old traumatic wound, but her mother constantly visits her, and her mother says to her, puts a piece of ash on my forehead as the baby and says, don't worry, the baby's going to be okay. Like, and my mom says she woke up and I was playing.
Now you were fine.
I was completely fine. So when you hear stories like this and they get reiterated, particularly within, I think African culture by its own nature believes in miracles.
No, we do. We absolutely
believe in miracles.
And but also, our history, we kind of have had to.
You think we had to?
I think we've also have had to. I mean, the history of Africans, particularly the history that we know of, because you know, as Africans, we are so alienated from our real history.
Right.
So our history is usually a history of fighting against colonialism or slavery, or that's kind of I think it's kind of a trauma response. When your life is so shitty, as Africans, I mean, the past 500 years, who can argue that Europe
They've been rubbish. They've been the past 500 years
have been
on
rubbish
this continent have
for
been
someone
absolute
for anyone of our skin color. So I'll raise your mother. I come from an entire family of dreamers. My mother is a very strong dreamer, to the point where I've had to say, Mom, you don't have to share every single dream that you have about me.
Right.
My brother Mkolisi has got very strong dreams.
But he's also a Catholic priest.
He's a Catholic priest. No, he is. Right? But
he'd be the first Catholic priest.
My children, I have got very vivid dreams. Just now we are having this conversation. Vumezita shared with me a very, very, very vivid dream that he had. And he was able to analyze it and reflect upon it. And we kind of made sense of it. My daughter Samafuza is also a very, very, very strong dreamer, like very powerful dreamer, right? And so on. And she also believes that she's got the gift. And, you know, I cannot say to her, no, dear, I'm a scientist. It doesn't. But I'll give you an example. A couple of weeks ago, and when I say a couple of weeks ago, probably about 2 months ago, I woke up and I had very strong thoughts, but I was awake, about a particular aunt, Octavia Mangcobo Khumalo, that I grew up with in Hammersdale, right? And then I didn't share it with anyone because, you know me, I'm pretty cynical, right? Until Olisi, my brother, calls me and says, "Yo, I had such a strong dream about Octavia," and I'm like, and then he says, "But what's weird is that our mother also had a dream about her." All three of us in one morning had a dream about her. Now, for the two of them who are dreamers, who it might make sense that but this person, I hadn't really needed to actually think about her in a while. And I remember I was just sitting there going, okay, what's going on?
Right.
So that's my way of saying I'm sitting on the fence because I don't know what it means.
But it also means that here's the thing about Africans.
Yeah.
We believe in witchcraft. Yeah, I don't care who you are, where you were educated, whether
you're an atheist or agnostic, whatever.
Let me tell you, there's this really disturbing thing on TikTok.
Yeah.
It's a white, I'm assuming Afrikaner dude, with a colored dude.
Yeah.
They drive in a car. I can't remember
all the details.
The name that they call themselves on TikTok, you know?
Yeah.
And it's somewhere a little rural. It's somewhere a little rural. So what they do is they get typically black, only black people. Yeah. They give them a lift.
Oh, I've seen that. I saw one. There was some Zimbabwean guy. Okay, continue. Just for those who haven't seen it.
So they give the black people a lift, and then they say, "Okay, we'll drive you to where you need to go, but we run a funeral service." We run a funeral service, and sometimes we have tokoloshes or bodies where you are sitting. The guy sitting at the back.
Yeah.
Okay, and now he can't open the door.
It's like a cop car, so you can't really open.
Right. Yeah. And so now they're like, if you see a tokoloshe
at the back there,
just say haramba. I can't remember what it's. So the number of times that people are coming out of the back, and they're really upset, and they're like, screaming, and I'm like, fuck, black people really believe in witchcraft and believe in tokoloshe, right? Now, the fact that these TikToks are extremely racist and smack of Leon Schuster.
They are
100% Leon Schuster. But look at me.
Yeah.
They're funny.
No, but they're hilarious. You know, I saw one where someone also did a prank, and it was a woman. So she's sitting in a taxi, a combat taxi, a quantum. So she's sitting there, and then she just starts going. She takes, how some people, I can do funny things. I mean, I can move my ears, for instance, right? So some people can actually roll their eyes back so that only the white. So she just puts the white, and then she starts saying, chanting some gibberish, but basically just saying, take all the souls of everyone. And there was a guy in a Gaza Chiefs jersey who stood up on his knees on the sofa, saying to her, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Because he actually believed it.
So I'm torn between I'm going to watch this and laugh, or this is actually racist. We shouldn't be doing this. You're taking people in need who need a lift. You're telling them there's a tokoloshe there. But Nati, how can you believe in a tokoloshe?
But does it? But does a tokoloshe exist? How do you know what tokoloshe? How do you know that a tokoloshe doesn't exist?
That is ludicrous. And you know it. I'm not even gonna like do two sides of this lecture.
It reminds me of my mother was an occupational nurse, right? In the what do you call it? Textile industry in Hammersdale.
Right.
Hammersdale used to be like buzzing industry.
Right.
Yeah. Claudina comes from Hammersdale, believe it or not, right?
Okay.
So, but in any case, she was telling me that there was this other woman used to work but also Rainbow Chickens, by the way, it's also from Hammersdale, believe it or not, right? So this woman worked at Rainbow Chickens. So they used to have this bus that used to deliver all the workers, like, their shifts, I think.
Like a staff bus.
Yeah, a staff bus, like 6 to 10, 10 to 2, 2 to 10.
Yep.
So she was coming back from work and she's wearing this white coat. Because, I mean, obviously, she's like, it's like a freezer coat and whatever. And then she's walking down the street. It's like 10, 11 in the evening, whatever. And she sees all these boys like under a lamp, like one of those street lamps, right? And she's like, oh, fuck. I will not be able to go around and whatever. But she's wearing this white coat, but she's not wearing the boots that are white. So she approaches these boys and she's like, no, I'm not going around. I'm going to have just to... And these boys are like playing dice or playing cards and whatever. And as she approaches them, because she's like emerging from the dark, she says, yo, yazi mina ngisaphila abantwana babengahlale kanje estratini when I was still alive. young She's like hardened criminals that were there to basically rob people. They're scattered in all directions because they believe it's a ghost. It's a ghost. So I do not know whether that qualifies as a miracle, but you're asking me a question as if you believe in tokoloshe. Do you believe in tokoloshe? Tell you what, there was a second when I was young. I remember I was doing standard 7, right? So grade 9, where I was sleeping and I had been told that the tokoloshes, they communicate using whistles. They go, and it's called abalozi, but it's almost like the underground people, but it's all part of the same continuum, right? And I keep hearing this thing and I'm sleeping. Do you know that I remember I was saying, "Ay, kulumani, ngilalele." Do you know what had happened?
What?
Do you remember the old radios? When it's either off, FM, in between there's like medium wave.
Right.
I think that I had thought I had switched off the radio, but it was on medium wave. And medium wave was just going like interference. Like, wee-hoo. But if I had not switched on the light and actually switched off the radio, I would have believed that no tokoloshes were talking to me.
Okay, but today, 2025.
Oh, come on, man.
Come on.
Of course, there's no such thing. But I am not so arrogant as to believe that when someone says that there are tokoloshes and that they saw them, that I could say to them with any definitive, because I can't either. My brain is limited.
The same principle that I use for saying there's things that we see that we can't see. Maybe some people see in tokoloshe, and I'm sorry if I made you feel bad by laughing at you. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, and we are still uncaptured, talking about all things ethereal.
Is that the word you are looking for?
I think that's the word I'm looking for.
Ethereal.
It's a little bit ethereal. We've just talked about the tokoloshe. You were saying that while you were in KZN last week, you had a near-death experience.
I did.
What happened?
So basically what happened is it's the bloody flu. Guys, whenever you watch this and you are feeling a little bit of a sniffle and so on, guys, take this season's flu very seriously, because I actually now know 2 people who actually left this world because of flu. And this is like a childhood friend who, for all intents and purposes, no comorbidities, fit, goes to gym, hikes, plays golf, plays basketball, had the flu, and they died. They killed off and they died. So I had possibly the most intense flu I have had since I had COVID. 5 years ago in 2020, where I got delirious. You know, we were supposed to be shooting last week.
Right.
I couldn't make it because everything was sore from my head to my toe. Body aches. But sniffles. But more importantly, then it became bronchitis and I couldn't breathe. And at some point, I woke up in the middle of the night, probably around 2, 3 in the morning. And for a good 20 minutes, I believe this, I believe I was actually very close to death. And it was borne out by my mother, who is a nurse of 50 years. My temperature was like above 38, closer to 38.5, which, as you know, that was dangerous, right? And I was delirious. I wasn't making sense, but more importantly, I couldn't breathe. And I'm not asthmatic. I don't have any asthma, right? And I was trying to draw in breath. I couldn't. And I had a very interesting thing where it was like 3 entities in the room where I thought I could see the light. There was a light. And I just suspect it was just artificial light. It was some electrical installation. But I was so aware of my body because I had to lie down on the floor. It was the only way that I could try and get breaths. But I was sitting there watching myself, sitting there, and I thought to myself, I've never experienced anything like this. And I thought, I do not know. But we've all read all these accounts of near-death experiences. But for me, it was the closest I think I actually ever came to dying.
Did you at that point say, Mom, let's go to the hospital?
Well, when I'm at home, I'm in a different house. I've got a cottage, which is a good 150 meters away from. So I was alone in the cottage. So there was no mom I could not even pick up the phone to actually call her until I calmed myself down. And I was drenched in sweat. And if you look at the side of my neck right now, I've got like a terrible heat rash because I was that hot, right? But I really was worried. And that's why it's only at that point that I said, Mom, in the morning, can we go to the ER? Because I'm worried about myself, So yeah, that is the closest I actually think I ever came to dying.
So right? I was gonna assume that's not how you wanna go out.
No, come on.
Have you?
Do me something.
I know.
Although some of my best friends are white, is because I'm black. Eat, drink, and blame the ancestors on radio, Kai FM, East Coast Radio, blah blah blah. This man writes for the Sunday Times for 16 years. My obituary is like, he died of the flu. Come on, man. I don't want to die of the flu.
Well, what kind of a death do you want, Ndumiso?
Something exotic.
Exotic.
Something exotic, man.
Exotic
and painful.
Ooh, for whom?
For me, I guess.
Why?
No, because I just think that will make me a far more interesting person. That when people read about me and they say, Ndumiso Ngcobo died in a flipping pub in Bogota, Colombia, and he was high and he was drunk and he was fighting over a big bosomed lady of the night called Consuela, and I got shot fighting for her honor. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like it's a romantic notion of what a writer and someone that of the stature that I am. The flu, I'm not going to die of the flu. I can't die of the flu or just die peacefully in my sleep. No, man, I don't want to die peacefully
That's exactly what I want. I want to...
So how do you want to die?
I want to die like most people, peacefully in my sleep.
Really?
Without suffering.
Surrounded by loved ones.
If they're around, but I have a feeling that if they're around, then I won't go. Sometimes people who are dying, you need to... They will literally tell you, go away.
Yeah.
Hamban.
It's a very mammalian instinct because that's what cats do. That's what dogs do. Cats and dogs are hardly ever, when they die of natural death, will ever die in front of anyone. They go away to die alone, right?
If I'm not going to die asleep,
then
fine. Let it be scandalous.
Ooh. What is scandalous for you? So how would you I've told you about Consuela.
You told me
and
about Consuela.
Bogota and Colombia.
But that's why I feel like maybe I can trust you. No, man, go like scandalous, horror like. Where was the body found? Whose bedroom?
Okay, I get you now when you say scandalous.
Who was it? They were just like, in the middle of an orgasm would be a great way to die.
When people say, she came and then she went.
She came and she went. And then on my epitaph, it should read, she was a great shag.
And I think that it's such a romantic thing because, our friend, we interviewed him, Robbie Thorpe. You remember what he said to me? He said, what? I've actually realized, I've caught you out into miso. I said, what do you mean? He's like, you're such a romantic. And I think I am a romantic in that in that sense. Because I think that I do want for there to be it has to be interesting. So for instance, just out of interest, whose bed? Like, would you just be like, ooh?
If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
The Archbishop of the Anglican Church.
Oh, please. No. Hey, Archbishop.
The cardinal? A cardinal?
No,
a Catholic cardinal.
Certainly not a cardinal. Ooh. No, a very respectable member of society in South Africa. And it would just be inappropriate. It would be inappropriate.
It would be
for me to declare my shaggability status. What I look like.
Really?
Yeah.
But it's not inappropriate for me to just keep throwing names at you.
No,
is
it? No, because they're all wrong. So
because I remember when we had the inquiry into the commission into state capture, all the women kept on saying, "Oh, Judge Zondo, yes."
Oh, the voice. Yes, the voice, definitely. His voice.
Deputy Chief Justice.
Not bad at all.
We're being scandalous. I'm being scandalous.
You are being scandalous.
No, I want to know. Who would it be? I'm interested.
I don't know, but try me. Who knows? I might just respond positively.
But that said,
yes, that said,
do you worry about dying when your affairs are not in order?
I'm worried that I'm not prepared.
Yeah.
For
in what way? Specifically, what do you mean? It's like, are there things, are there people?
I have a will.
Yes.
But I want to update it.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not financially where I would like to leave my family.
Yes.
At all.
You do not want them to be left with a burden of taking care of things. But also, even more than that, you also would probably want, when you go, for people to kind of not really benefit from you gone, but
you know what we call generational wealth.
Yes,
I'd love to leave something for the people who come after me.
Yeah,
property, land, businesses, commercial entities, share prices, share certificates. Do you understand? Something that my nieces and nephews can use to give them a leg up. The way that white people have advantages over us.
Yes.
Like that, it was like, I didn't do anything. It wasn't my fault. Okay, but that advantage still exists.
But you still inherited Goko's flat.
Yes.
In Bedford View, wherever.
You inherited something.
And it helped you start out.
Rona, you inherited a 4-room house.
Yeah.
Co-locationing. Do you understand? So in the location. So I just feel like I wish I could do more for my family.
Emotionally and socially, in terms of not only your family, and do you have people that you also feel there are things that have been left unsaid? Totally. And I'll tell you why I say this. Because one of those things, and I cannot speak for him, even though he did speak for himself before he passed away. My father, he was diagnosed with cancer in October, lymphoma. By April, he was gone. But in that 6 months, I remember watching him and him articulating the fact that he is now at peace. He is ready to go. He has said everything that he needed to say.
Right.
There was no one in his view.
And he had a long life.
He had a long life. Because, I mean, he passed, about 6 days before his 80th birthday. So that aspect, because that worries me as well.
Right.
There are certain things I haven't said. You need to clean
There's
it.
definitely people I need to apologize to.
Okay.
There's records that needs to be set straight.
Yeah.
There's just sometimes conversations that need to be had.
That haven't been had.
That we just for lack of opportunity or anything like that. So I would want to fix that too before anything kind of happened to me. But having said that,
yes,
I'm also incredibly petty.
Yes.
The one thing that I have started on is my funeral program.
Really?
I am petty as fuck.
So you care, but I suppose that's consistent because you do believe in life after death, do you? Don't
yes,
you?
I do.
Which means that your funeral, how your program goes, because I have absolutely no interest in anything that happens after I'm dead.
Right.
I can always just say, right now we're sitting, we're having this conversation. 2 of my children, my 2 middle children, my second born, Vumezita, and my third born, Samafuza, are watching us live as we're doing this. And I've always been very clear that, for one, I do not want to be buried. But if they decide to, if they want to bury me, though,
they can.
Really?
Okay, so you've given them that option.
No, I mean, funerals are not for the dead. Funerals are for the living.
It's true.
I believe.
It's true.
So however they want to inter my remains is up to them. But I do have my own wishes. Like cremation seems to be the most,
sensible.
The most sensible thing to do, even though, quite frankly, if I had my way, I'd probably just be chopped up like in a butchery, and then flown on a helicopter, and my remains just thrown in the Tluhlue Game Reserve for me to be eaten by
lions.
And I just go back into the food chain, and just in that way, rather than, because I don't want to be eaten by maggots.
So you don't. Okay, see, I don't want to be eaten by maggots. I was about to ask you that because that's, some people would say that's so undignified.
It's morbid.
It's morbid. It's undignified. Just be throwing pieces of your flesh out the window of a car for some animal to kind of eat.
Or take me on a boat and just throw me over into the sea. There's so much food in here. There's like 85 kg of protein and...
But I don't think the law would allow your family to chop you up and feed you to the sharks.
I know, and that's the problem. And that's the problem.
They're limited.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But also in terms of just the rituals. So do you want like a proper funeral? So for instance, if your family decided to bring Mfundisi there and you are interred Christianly, would you be okay with
I
that?
hope they know me better than that.
Yeah.
And that it would be a spiritual funeral versus a religious funeral. I'm a spiritual person.
Yes.
I love hymns.
Yeah.
I may be atheist or a non-believer, Mara. There's nothing like a hymn, like to get my soul
you're not an atheist.
in there, Ninton.
You're not an atheist.
Ninton.
No, an atheist wouldn't.
Is it an unbeliever?
An unbeliever. You would not be partnering if you're an atheist.
Yeah, so I have my beliefs.
You are a selective, atheist. even though,
opportunist.
Even though, as you partner, you also still say, in the name of Jesus.
Guys, we don't know what is out there. But no, so in the sense of saying, Ndumiso Ngobo will speak.
Yes.
Robbie Thorpe will speak.
Yes.
Subanbani will speak. There are people that I know will definitely not speak. Don't you dare let this one come close to me. People that I felt like aggrieved me. I know it's petty. It's so childish. I wish I was bigger than this, but I'm not. Just people that kinale squalenyana. Or like when wangenza saw.
Don't speak at my bloody funeral.
Dare. Act as a ukhala lapho uzenza ungathi you're gonna miss me. Don't you dare.
I don't care what happens after I die. Like I said, I mean, my funeral will happen after I'm dead, and I don't believe in life after death and so on. But I have to say that it really, really aggrieved me when my uncle, Mafika Pascal Gwala, the poet, the BC activist, the essayist, and so on, and a brilliant man who was also a socialist and a communist, but who also was very much an atheist. And I'm there at his funeral, and there is so much Jesus happening at his funeral.
Right.
But also he was so estranged from the glorious movement. And to see his coffin draped in an ANC flag, for me was a very sore thing, because I don't think that he would have approved.
Right.
Because at that particular point, if it had been an SACP flag,
right,
yes,
right,
it would have made sense, but not the ANC flag, because I lived with him and he was my uncle. And so I don't know. I suppose I'm torn about what happens, because can you imagine I am dead and then there is now whoever is going to be the Minister of Condolences at that time.
Right.
We have lost our greatest. Can you imagine getting Mackenzie at my funeral because he's the Minister of Arts and Culture?
And if you die, you will.
No, man.
And then, yeah.
We see now. I would not want that. I really would not want that.
I wouldn't either. But there's a lot of things that I suppose I wouldn't want. But are there things that you have shared with your children in terms of cultural rights? Are there anything? Like, you're such an unbeliever, right?
Yeah.
Like, have you ever gwazad an animal for sacrifice?
Of course I have.
Okay.
Oh, I have slit.
Okay. So
I have slit throats.
Okay.
In fact, even now, when I was at home after my near-death experience, Umagwala, I'm busy dying out there and she's busy brewing umqombothi. And when I'm done, we've got like a hut in the yard, Kwamnamata back home. And she brought some incense and she said, speak. Because, you have been... Uklambulu. And when I did it, and this is the thing that might shock you, and when I did it, and I was talking to the underground gang, I actually meant it. I did not I wasn't going through the motions. I honestly, but I was mostly... No.
You were scared?
No, I was like, oh my goodness.
What scared you the most?
Because I'm not ready to die.
Why?
I'm not ready to die for exactly the same reasons that you have. I feel that in as much as I believe that I am very actively and very, I really am working hard for my children to make sure that they are okay. Everything that I have is towards my children. But I don't feel that I am leaving them enough. I don't think that if I go now, that they will be okay without me necessarily.
Sure.
And that is the thing that bothers me.
Yeah.
It bothers me the most. Yeah.
So I thought you might be interested. What part of what Palisa emailed was that you sort of like, it's really things like the gathering of pictures. Don't wait until the funeral. Start now with the family picture archives.
Yes.
Music. You can start compiling. Like for myself, for example, I'm just like, I'm writing my music, the songs that I want. It's like my favorite hymns. You should know.
Yeah.
Don't guess. I don't go to church, so you wouldn't know what my favorite hymn is.
Mina, if at my funeral, like I'd be very, very disappointed if they don't sing one of my favorite Catholic hymns. Mangisondele kuwe nankosi. Because you see, in as much as I'm an agnostic, and I keep on harping on this, but I'm also very much a cultural Catholic. I'm very culturally Catholic, and Jesu Mhlengi wetu, all kinds of hymns that come. I wouldn't mind people singing all that sort of thing, as long as there isn't a preacher who's just going there. And
can I also? I'm so petty that I've specified I don't want translators. Jeso umkile letsogo wamthathu Jesu ngesandla.
But I saw a very beautiful Netflix movie a couple of weeks ago where a mother, basically what she did for her daughter was she left bloody DVDs, recorded herself.
Yes.
And we live in a digital world. And quite honestly, we can put these things in the cloud to leave our children, to just, for my children, after I'm gone, for them to listen to me looking into the camera and saying, Ntobeko, mfana wami, this is what I think. This is what Vumezita, my child. Samafuza, my child. Sihayo, my child. My wife, Teboko, this is what I think. And I think it's such a great idea to actually do this. As morbid as it sounds, but my near-death experience has actually given me that impetus to say, I think maybe let me start doing it.
What are your plans for your funeral? Are you as petty as I am? Were you as scared as Ndumiso was? We'd love to hear from you. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Still Uncaptured. We've covered miracles. We've covered death. Our own death, to be specific. And I'm sure it's not going to be the last time we talk about it. Now I want to talk about irrational fears. First of all, do you have a fear that is just irrational?
I remember writing when I used to write for Thought Leader, the Mail and Guardian platform. And I remember saying, I really don't have any fears. And this is probably about 15 years ago. I have since revised my stance because I've actually thought about it. I've got a lot of irrational fears. So for instance, man, my claustrophobia is bad.
I also have claustrophobia.
I have a fear of confined
Where does it come
spaces. I realize that I think that I almost have always had it because I remember when I was growing up, right? And particularly when I was younger, and because I started school at like 5 years old. I think you also started school at about 4, 5, whatever, right? And I had a tiny body and a big head, right? And my mother, for a very good reason, used to say, you need to protect your neck in winter because Hammersdale is a very cold place, right? So where I grew up, so she would buy us polo necks to wear a polo neck under your school shirt and so on. But a polo neck is very narrow for the size of my head. And so I remember this panic I once experienced where I think I was trying to take it off. My arms got stuck and the polo neck, the neck part of it was over my face. I couldn't breathe. And I realized I have this fear of dying from asphyxiation, from lack of breath.
I also have the same fear.
I have this fear.
Do you have dreams?
I have dreams where I stop.
And you stop breathing in real life.
My near-death experience, this is why I was panicking so much because I couldn't breathe. I was like, I'm suffocating and so on. So claustrophobia for me, it's just this fear. And it's irrational because not too many spaces really are you going to be stuck and not be able to breathe, right? So I think that was my first one where I was struggling with a polo neck jersey and I couldn't breathe. But then I get to high school. I remember I was in standard 7, grade 9, and someone decided to play a prank on me and said, okay, let's take turns. I'll put me into a cupboard, close it, and then I'll count up to 100, and then you open, and so on. So I did that, and then I got to 100, and I opened. Then they said, oh, no, it's your turn.
Black Mamba.
No, but not even
that.
Well, we were not even hiding.
Version.
Yeah,
okay.
No. It was just in the recreation room, a music room. And then they put me in there, and then they took a padlock and they actually locked because they thought it was funny. Now I'm in this confined space. And I think I passed out twice in that time because this bloody idiot actually forgot that they actually put me in there. But now it's in a music room and music is playing loud.
Right.
So, and I'm banging. No one can hear me because the music is so loud. By the time they took me out, let's just say that I had to very quickly go and wash my underpants when I was done.
No, I get that.
Claustrophobia is, one of my greatest fears is being stuck in a lift. Because you were stuck in a lift, I remember.
I was.
When were you? What happened?
We were coming out of an event. I just emceed an event we had.
Yeah.
at Melrose Arch.
Yes.
And it was for Soul City. It was the launch of, I think, a feminist thing.
Ah, yes.
And my PA and I at the time found ourselves in the lift, and it's like 1 a.m. And it just...
1 a.m.?
Yeah.
So help is not really too close.
I don't know, but I'm just thinking like there's a phone number. First of all, there were people still in the building. So they could hear us outside of the elevator. And literally, we just had to sit down and chill. Sit down and chill about 20 minutes, half an hour.
Half an hour?
Yeah. But like, it was also on just the two of us, so it didn't feel...
If you had been, I can tell you just now, just for your own benefit, if you had been stuck in that lift with me, your biggest problem would not have been stuck in the lift. It would have been me. Probably by the time the elevator opened, they would have found me with my face buried in between your breasts, in your bosom, just sobbing uncontrollably. It's bad. It's bad. And I told you the story about... And I only told you the story today, right? When we were also doing the prep for the show. It's that in 2020, in September, during that when the lockdown had relaxed and we could only buy alcohol from like Monday to Thursday. Long story short, I was on my way to Newcastle and I knew there would be no alcohol to buy over the weekend. But I was coming from I was going past Fountains to pick up a friend who lived in Sunnyside for us to drive to Newcastle. But I had alcohol, lots and lots of alcohol, but we were not allowed because I think it was a Friday. And so the cops nabbed me. And then the cops put me in the back of a van.
And then?
I fainted. I passed out in the back of a van. I was crying, asking for my mother, Mom. I cannot deal with confined spaces. It's bad. It's horrible. And when I came to, the cops had realized that I had fainted. They were now worried. And so they had actually pulled me and put me like towards the back, and they had opened the bed and just the air.
Right.
I mean, the windows were open, but just a confined space.
I'm also claustrophobic, maybe not as bad as you are, but I remember we went to my homestead for Moratele, Makapanstad. Yeah, essentially for an event for my father's what. Yeah. We were sleeping in the car, because there's nowhere else to sleep. I was in the back seat of Lesedi's car, and the girls were in the front. So Momo's front, Lesedi front, I'm in the back. So when they lie down, their seats come down on me pretty much.
Yes.
I lasted maybe like a couple of hours, and like literally in my dreams, not being able to breathe. And then because their seats are here, I'm like, get it off.
Get it off.
You understand? When you want to scream, like, ah! It was physical. Claustrophobia is one of the worst things that you suffer from because people don't understand it. And you understand the impossibility of being in this confined space and that your head won't allow you to actually just be.
Yeah. But you also, animals? What animals are you? Irrational fears. Oh. What animal are you?
Animals?
That are you irrationally afraid of?
Well, first, I would say the worst thing about me is vertigo.
Oh, vertigo.
In terms of irrational fears. Yeah?
The fear of heights.
It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't.
It doesn't?
No, and my apartment in Cape Town is on the 5th floor. So being on the balcony is quite an interesting experience. Let's just put it that way. But yes, vertigo. But I would say more than vertigo, I'm afraid of mice.
Rats. Rodents.
I'd say rodents, but I would say even mice more than rats.
What do you mean?
Because
so not Lekorotsoana, like the big ones. The
rats move slower.
Yeah.
They're bigger. They're clumsier. A mouse, and it runs up the barricade. Do you know that I'm so scared of mice? I was with my mom, and my mom is handicapped, right? She's physically disabled.
Yeah.
In the sense that she's had hip replacements. So she doesn't walk as well as one could, you know? A mouse came into her bedroom there, and I'm in the bedroom now.
Yeah.
I'm like seeing this mouse. I jumped on the bed. leaving my disabled mother with her cane to deal with the rat while I'm on the bed screaming.
Jeez, it's that bad.
It's that bad.
But you know, I do not know how irrational the fear of mice and rats is. Because quite honestly, millions upon millions of human beings have been killed by the diseases, the bubonic plague.
Vermin.
I mean, mice are the dirtiest animals, some of the dirtiest animals we have. I mean, an irrational fear for me, for instance, would be like a frog. What can a frog do to you?
Right, literally.
Really, like what can a frog do to you? So, like frogs, I'm not afraid of. Snakes, I'm not afraid of. I'm not afraid of
snakes. I am.
You're afraid of snakes?
I'm terrified.
You
of
do
snakes.
realize that the fear of snakes is completely irrational.
I know that.
It's completely irrational.
I'm still scared of snakes.
because whenever you come across a snake, unless it is a python, the fear of a python is real because a python could eat you. But every other snake, really, it's just trying to run away from you. Snakes are not interested in human beings. No, they're not. Snakes don't just go after human beings because snakes only kill things that they want to eat, like the rest of nature. So when you are seeing a snake...
Yeah, but snakes bite also, I get.
Yeah.
So you can have such a thing as a snake bite?
If they're afraid, because you have trampled on it, you've scared them.
Right.
So it's really just, they bite out of fear.
Right.
Not because they are attacking you. But vertigo, you and I once were hosted by... Was it Natal or was it Durban Tourism? It was Durban Tourism.
Yes, it was.
It was Durban Tourism.
Yeah.
And I remember part of the itinerary was...
jump off Moses Mabhida.
Bungee jumping. I have never bungee jumped in my life. Ever. I know it's irrational because... it's generally safe. I've never bungee jumped and I will never bungee jump, right? It's not on my bucket list.
You really don't need it, eh?
I don't need it. I will never skydiving, anything.
I used to want to, not so much.
No, I do not do anything that is what are those things called?
Extreme sports.
Extreme sports. I don't do extreme sports. I am not interested. I am not going to be climbing Kilimanjaro anytime soon.
Right.
I'm not. That shit is not going to happen with me.
Right.
I have an irrational fear of dying a stupid death because I have this thing that, like, such is my luck that I'd be that one person that people are just going to be like, yo, you know what happened to the author and the The rope snapped while he was busy bungee jumping.
Right.
But I also think I have a far bigger fear than just dying from bungee jumping. My fear is I might have unscheduled bowel movement where I am hanging upside down on this rope.
And then it comes down.
And there is a brown river of shame running down my pants for people to just snap pictures. Be like, there is Ndumisongo.
I can smell it.
He shit himself. So it's not going to happen. But also, speaking of vertigo, do you know what makes me also worry about vertigo? The source of my vertigo is, does it ever happen to you that you are standing on top of a building and you are worried that you might jump?
But see, you've just come to the root cause. Psychologists, when they analyze people with vertigo, say that that's exactly what we're scared of. The fact that we might involuntarily jump.
Because I have experienced it.
Because you know that feeling. You go up there to your own Table Mountain and you're hiking. And
what is that though?
I don't know. Because, you are consciously there. We don't trust our brains.
No, I don't trust myself to not jump.
Yeah, to not jump. To be like, I just want to jump.
I remember standing on a platform with Tebogo in the UK, someplace. I suspect it was Liverpool. I'm not quite sure where we were. No, it was a town called Tilbury in the UK, and we standing on the platform because I'm not a train. I've hardly ever used trains in my life, so I'm not used to being on a platform. And I remember sitting there, and the train is coming, and I remember having to very consciously step back because I was afraid that I'm going to jump in front of. And I'm not suicidal. Like, I had so much to live for.
Yeah.
It was like literally a couple of months before we got married, everything. But I was just afraid I might jump in front of the train.
Very strange.
So it's a weird thing.
We all have something.
Yeah, no.
I just find we all have something.
Irrational fears. Eh?
Do you think the people back at Glebe Hostel have anything to fear, though?
Of course they do. Of course.
Because, like, namadoda, unengabi la.
Yo, but their fear might be one day someone might ask them to spell the word Cleveland. I said it.
OMG. When all of Glebe Hostel comes for you, angilapo angmaz lo muntu. I don't know him. I just met him. It's not personal. I personally love Zulu people, especially from Glebe Hostel. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Still Uncaptured. We're now going to play the game of choices. I'm going to give you choices, and you must tell me who you pick, however difficult the situation.
Okay, so basically you're just giving me names, 2 names at a time.
2 names at a time, and you must pick one.
Whoever's the winner goes to the next round, and then they, okay, cool. I get it.
You got it?
I get it.
Okay.
Don't be a punk. Because I still have to give you, right?
Fine, no problem. Okay, cool. I won't be a punk. All right. Nia Long, Gabrielle Union.
Ooh. No, my crush on Nia Long is so much stronger than my crush on Gabrielle Union. Nia, since since the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, since then, and even The Best Man. Nia Long. I just like the whole dark.
Everything. Everything about Nia is good. Okay. Gabrielle Union, Taraji P. Henson.
Oh, that's very easy. Gabrielle Union.
Okay. You're not feeling Taraji?
No.
Not like that.
She's done too many Tyler Perry movies for my liking. There's a thing about me.
Girls gotta eat, mapalova.
No, listen. Hey, I am a fan of Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry feeds black people.
Tyler Perry is good for the industry, particularly for black actors and so on. It's just, It's
just he makes unwatchable films.
No, he makes a movie. You know what the movie's about? The movie is about
he knows his lane.
The black struggling woman who needs a black.
I wish he'd write more about men, though. Yeah. You understand? Like, can you just leave the women alone for a bit?
But also, my dear, So
Taraji, Taraji P. Henson, Halle Berry.
Oh, absolutely, Halle Berry.
Halle Berry, Angela Bassett.
Oh, Angela. Oh,
really?
Oh no, absolutely. Like no. Yeah. I know it's a horrible acronym. But Angela Bassett is such a MILF. Oh, she really is. No, definitely.
Angela Bassett, Viola Davis.
Ooh. Why? What's the criterion? Is it the acting or is it everything else?
Too late to ask. Is the last name
Viola?
Really?
Viola.
Oh yeah, no. I'm with you.
Oh,
okay.
No. Range.
Okay.
Depth.
Okay.
I know Viola.
Yeah, no, true.
Viola, man.
Yeah. No, range and whatnot.
Yeah.
Hey, it's just the thing when she.
What?
When she does these really emotional scenes and they're crying scenes. The mucus. There's just always like a little mucusy thing coming out, and it just
it doesn't work for you.
I fucking hate it. And then I'm like, Homoto, come on, you're an adult. It's just mamina. It's just mucus. Just ignore it. This person is acting their lungs out.
Yes.
And I'm worried about mucus.
Yeah. And it's almost like, there are certain people, I'm not going to name names or anything. Those people who, when they are giving a speech or they are acting, whatever, and then they have, the white, and it collects.
But then it also collects here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, but I love Viola Davis. I love Viola Davis. Okay, let me hit you back.
Okay, hit me back.
Let me hit you back, right? Eddie Levert or Barry White?
Barry White.
Barry White.
Barry White.
Absolutely Barry.
Barry White. Barry.
I'm realizing as I'm growing older that I really now appreciate Eddie Levert's voice. I never used to.
No, I always used to. And then his son's Gerald.
Gerald.
The identical voice.
Identical voice.
But there was something, man. I was watching an interview with Barry White.
Yes.
Where they said, what, do you remember what happened when your voice dropped?
Yeah.
He says, like, I was talking to my mom. I nearly scared the death out of both of us.
He was I think he was 14.
Yo, don't leave me hanging. Don't leave me hanging. Give me a fucking 5. Yes, so I would say Barry, I love his range, and I've been listening to a lot of him lately.
Yeah.
And how pettiness also weaves its way into his songs. Like, whatever we had. That song is about 8 minutes long.
I know.
And that's all it says. Whatever we had, and then he talks. Basically, it's somebody breaking up with you, but from such an arrogant point of view. I love it. So yes, Barry.
My favorite is recently, like when I listen to Barry White.
Yeah,
you know that I love Volare. But lately I've been listening to a lot of Bring Back My Yesterday. Bring back. Okay, Barry White versus Theodore Pendergrass, Teddy Pendergrass.
Barry White.
Barry White still. Ooh, Teddy Pendergrass. Teddy. Okay, it's your choice. It's
Wait. Do and do it like this.
Turn off the lights.
Ooh. Okay, Teddy.
Close the door.
No, Teddy. I think Teddy. Okay. Yeah.
Teddy Pendergrass or Luther Vandross. Luther. Because he was Luther was amazing.
Luther.
His catalog is crazy.
His catalog. I was just about to.
Crazy.
His catalog is enough. Yeah.
And I have actually never heard a bad Luther Vandross song. I do not know it.
He was brilliant.
Luther Vandross, Marvin Gaye.
Marvin. He was a friend of mine. Oh, Marvin. Oh, Marvin.
Oh, come on.
Marvin.
Oh, mercy me.
Bona. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay,
exactly.
Cool.
No, Marvin.
Now I'm going to be a punk. Last one. Marvin or Stevie? Stevie Wonder.
Purely from his catalog and his longevity.
And range. Not R&B, soul, pop.
Name it.
Reggae.
Name it. Stevie Wonder is God's wonder too. Like, God wanted to show us how much he loved us on earth. And he said, I give you Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder. There's something that I do not know whether I stole it from someone or I came up with it myself. Doesn't really matter. I always say this to people. I always say this to my children. Vumezita in particular. And Vumezita, Stevie Wonder is his favorite artist of all time. And he's only 20. Right. And I always say to Vumezita, Stevie Wonder is not a musician. Stevie Wonder is music. Stevie Wonder.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
All right.
All
right. I don't know who you stole it from too, but I love it. It's been a great show. Thank you very much, my friend. But I wanted to send a shout out.
Yes.
You come across a lot of things on Facebook or social media where people are requiring some help. back a buddy, help a, like people are sick, people are unemployed for whatever reason. I'm raising funds for a business. I'm raising funds for health. I have a friend, Beverly Ditsi Palesa. Dr.
Bev Ditsi.
Dr. Bev Ditsi. Yeah. And she had has a medical challenge, and for which she has Becca Buddy. But I believe they've raised the funds for her. But I just wanted to send her some big love.
Is that the T-shirt?
No, this is just a T-shirt she made years ago. I've had this for a few years now. I think 4 or 5 years. But she's a friend. She's an icon. She's an activist. She's one of South Africans we should be most proud of. And I just want to say to Dr. Bev, to everybody who's suffering health challenges in particular and needs that extra dose of prayer and consideration, I give it to you.
Money. Guys, and also, yes, I hear you and good vibrations.
Right.
Our other common friend, Tahira
Sayed. Thank you for mentioning that. Yes.
Also needs, guys, if you can help, because do you understand how difficult it is for someone in that particular space to humble themselves to the point where they say, guys, I need help?
We're all back a buddy away. Literally. You just never know when you need it and when your health is going to be so compromised. So for everybody who, Tahira and Dr. Bev, we wish you the best. Please go donate to their, is it Buddy Fund?
GoFundMe.
Yes. On the GoFundMe.
Subscribe, follow us, interact with us on Spotify, and we'll be back.
Yeah.
For another edition.
Next week, don't worry.
Still Uncaptured.
Still Uncaptured. Bye.